Hello everyone and welcome to IPCon CBT video trainings. In this video I'm going to show you how to add Cisco routers inside the GNS3 lab, how to add cloud to the topology to communicate with your PC network card, whether if it's in LAN or it's wireless, how to add or configure Cisco router to enable CCP or Cisco configuration professional access. So in future, if you want to access your router via the graphical user interface, then there is software named Cisco configuration professional where you can configure your Cisco routers via the graphical user interface. My name is Waisidin Farzan. I'm a certified Cisco engineer. My Cisco ID is 11404095. To begin with, software is required for this lab. I'm using GNS3 086. It's a 0.8.6 and CCP 2.7. This is Cisco Configuration Professional 2.7, and also the latest Adobe Flash Player, as well as Cisco IS version 15.x for router model 7206 VXR. Actually, in this lab we are configuring Cisco router model 7206 VXR, which is the high-end routers. To begin with, we need to open GNS3 software. Once you have opened the GNS3 software, the installation is very easy for the GNS3. You just need to go to GNS3.net, and then from there you can download the software, set up it. Let's click next. That's finish. After finishing installation, you need to go to edit, iOS and images, iOS images and hypervisors. You need to click the image file. Click this button. I'm using the extracted version of this VXR 7200 router because this loads faster than this compressed versions. You need to click open. Once you open it, it will automatically, the default RAM, you can choose how much RAM you want to give to it. So in this case, I'm going to upgrade its RAM to 512 megabytes. You don't need to collect this. That's actually your choice. For this platform, you want this image to be the default image for this platform, or you have some other images that you want to make it default for this 7200 platform. Once you have finished, click the save button. Says that iOS is added. Click the close button. Now, once you have added the router, you need to browse the routers. See now the router C7200 marked with green means that the image is configured for this platform. Just click it, drag and drop it to the lab. Once the router is added to the lab, you need to go to the browse the switches. You need to add the Ethernet switch for your internal host in order to be connected to the internet, and you want to configure NATing, some other. In the future videos, I'm going to show how you can configure NAT, path, and access list, and lots of videos. And then the cloud, which is the important point, how you manage to access internet via your current network card into the GNS lab routers. First of all, you need to double click the router. Do not turn it on until you did not configure it completely. Click the R1, go to the slots tab, from slot 0 I'm going to add an interface G0/0 gigabyte interface, and also at the slot 0 slot 1 I'm also going to add another gigabyte interface. Click apply and OK. Now if you go to mouse over to that particular R1 router, you see that we have two routers. It's slot 0 is the gig 1 and slot 1 is the gig slot 0 is actually the gig 0 and slot 1 is the gig 1. Now if you drag and drop from the if you want to connect your gig 1 to the cloud, it will not connect. It will give you an error message. It will say no interface available, please configure the device. So in this case you have to configure it, the cloud, with and add your wireless or wired network card. Double click the cloud, go to the C1, under the NIO Ethernet select the exact network card which connects you to the internet. In my case I'm using the wireless, which is this one, Microsoft WLAN. Once you've selected, chosen your network card, click the add button, apply, and then OK. Now we have a network card configured for this cloud. Now go to select from here, add a link, click that, click the G1/0 and here the NIO. It means now you are connected to that particular network card which is configured for your cloud. So we have now a connection between R1 G1/0 to cloud interface. Now we need to add the G0/0 to the Ethernet switch, which is our LAN subnet. You normally click here, and both of our two interfaces are configured. You want to show the interface labels, normally click this button. It will show you the exact what labels are already configured. It means the G1/0 is this interface and G0/0 is this interface. So in our case G0/0 is the LAN portion or the LAN subnet, and G1/0 is the WAN subnet. So currently we do if you want to run your router, normally right click on the particular router and click the start button. When you have started the router, it will take a while, around 1 to 2 minutes to run your router based on the platform that you have selected. You just double click on that after running, pressing the start button. You need to double click on it and it will run the putty. You see the bootstrap comes up. The router starts. It means that we can configure our router easily. But here is one thing you need to take care of. If you configured your routers and you did not apply the ideal PC, ideal PC is a tool which reduces the amount of process used inside your PC or the processors. It will bring down the load from the processors, and to configure the ideal PC you need to select that router, the R1 or the module, right click on that and select the ideal PC. Dialog box will open in a few minutes which will say please select your ideal PC marked with star option. Means that the star option is the best option. But currently here we have an star options, mean this one is the best option for that. Once you have selected your ideal PC, click the apply and OK. Before applying OK, let me show you guys what is my process, the CPU usage and the memory. Now when I apply that and click the OK, process is now very less. I can it's got my process. here the process is still will come down. In case the process again did not come down, you need to go to that particular router, right click again, go to the ideal PC and choose the best options, which will bring down the CPU usage at 0 or 1 level. So in this case I'm going to select now 67 or 76, which marked higher than it has a higher number inside the brackets. Apply. You see now a little bit, now we have a very low process, means that idle PC is configured. The point is, once you have selected the best idle PC for your routers, you don't need to, each time you add router to the lab for that specific platforms, you don't need to select every time idle PC for each router. For the one platform, like for 7200, I have selected this ideal PC. I don't need to run ideal PC for to add routers, to add more routers. Actually, from the 7200 family, not from other routers. If I select other routers like 26700, this 3600 or 3700, I need to, first time I have to select the idle PC for them, and then it will automatically, each time when I run the add routers, it will automatically detect from the previous one. Okay, so once we have finished selecting the good ideal PC for this router, we need to configure the router. In our case, for the lab diagram, our one subnet is 10.100.100.222. So interface G1/0, IP address 100.100.222 /24 subnet mask. No shutdown. Wait until the interface comes up. So you see, check that interface comes up. We need to configure ping 10.100.100.222. You can check, receive a reply from the 222, and from the router we need to also configure. I need to ping my NIC card IP. My IP is actually 60, not 51. So it replies. So we have successfully configured the iOS images for platform 7206 VXR routers inside the GNS3. We have successfully configured the cloud. Now I can communicate with my LAN card. I've already assigned the IP address, which is from the subnet, which is I've already configured for my wireless or wired network, the network which I already have internet. Now I'm going to configure the LAN subnet interface G0/0 IP address. I'm going to give it 10.1.1.254 with the 24-bit subnet mask. No shutdown. We wait until interface comes up. Interface comes up normally without having any issues. So now the big part is the setup and configuration of CCP, or the Cisco Configuration Professional, to access the router via the web graphic or the graphic user interface, to access your routers via the GUI. So what you have to do, you have to configure three things. You have to enable the secret, you have to have a username, you have to enable the HTTP for your router. The commands are starting from the first. We have to select IP HTTP server, IP HTTP authentication local. When you have selected IP HTTP authentication local, then you need to add the username for that. So the username will be admin, privilege level of 15, and the secret should be Cisco. Now once that's added, enable secret Cisco, exit and save the current configuration. So once you have configured the HTTP server, the authentication to take it from the local database of this router. IP HTTP authentication local means get the authentication from the local database of this router. So we have already configured added the username by admin, privilege level is 15, and security is Cisco, or the password is Cisco. In order to, I've already set up my Cisco configuration professional. It's just easy. You need to download the software from cisco.com. It's free, not paid version. You download it. You need to run that as an administrator. Make sure whenever you run that, you just right click on that and say run as an administrator. Let's see this provision. Give it some time to the Cisco configuration professional. It will load. Once it's loaded, make sure you add the router. So in this case, I'm going to add the IP of the router 100.100.222. The username was admin. The password was Cisco. Click the OK button from here. Now I have many routers in here. Currently I want to access this router, which is my lab 1 router. It's R1. You click the router, click the discover button, and wait until it discovers. It says discovering. We are connected via non-secure port. Yes, because we accessed it via the HTTP, not the HTTPS. We have not configured the HTTPS yet. To configure it for HTTP, you need to configure a certificate or the crypto keys, and as well as the SSH. To test whether your username and password works, normally what you have to do is to check your browser, give the IP which you already configured for your outside IP, and give it. It will ask you username and password. Now it says yes, means that we are already successfully configured the web user interface, but you have to wait for CCP to get to this router. If you come to the configure portion, everything is now dark gray, means that yet it's not yet discovered. So finally the router is now discovered. You can see we can now configure the router, whatever options removed from the CCP. Configure the interfaces, we can configure NTP, DGP, DNS, the AAA, AAA, ACLs, NAT, quality of service, and many more options. Even the call manager express, we can configure it from the CCP. Okay, everyone, finally we have configured CCP inside our GNS3 lab topology. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye.